Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Retro Pioneers Podcast. I'm your host, Retro J. Look, today is a special episode because I'm sitting here right now with one of the legends. One of the legends in the UK scene when it comes down to fighting, just charity work. It's an all-time great guy right here, Mr. ASURA. Let these folks know something about you that they don't already know.
I mean, first and foremost, what an introduction, man. Insane. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me. First and foremost, I was like, yo, hold on, taken a little bit aback by that. But no, hi. Yeah, so for those obviously that have no idea, I'm Asura or Asura DX. I'm an esports commentator, specifically within the fighting game space. Came from a background within Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, then transitioned now into 2XKO and other fighting games. And then on the side, I also do events direction as well. So I work and run my own events that ranges from charity events to all sorts of stuff. We've done uni events and other stuff and whatnot. Um, and yeah, man, I mean, it's basically what I've been doing for the last couple years, and it's basically a little bit more about me.
Okay. So what tell us a little something about yourself as far as like your childhood when it come down to gaming, man. Like what got you
Hmm.
into gaming?
So my dad had a PlayStation 1 when we were kids, and it was the first console that I was ever introduced to as a young child. And one of the games that took me by storm was Tekken 3, and it is, my favorite game of all time because it just holds a very special place in my heart. So I've been into fighting games ever since I was a little kid. But Tekken has been such a very special franchise within my family because every time we got together for gatherings or Eid or whatever, we would always play different Tekkens, and as the years went on, different Tekkens had come out. So we played through 4, 5, 6. We played through Tekken 7, and now Tekken 8. So, I mean, like we've played. That was a very special moment for me. I mean, getting introduced to Tekken and the PlayStation 1, obviously. And then a little bit more was, obviously, I grew up in an era where the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3 were both very, very exciting consoles. Big consoles, yeah, that had loads of cool games on it. But me, I grew up with a Nintendo Wii. So
Mm,
obviously, I was relegated to playing a lot of Nintendo titles, which honestly, looking back at it now, I'm super grateful for. At the time, I was like, I really want to get in on like the Call of Duty action. But man, I mean, it was like what, 5 or maybe 6 at the time. So I was like, I really enjoyed that. But looking back, I mean, I got to enjoy all the hits, talking Super Mario Galaxy, Sonic Unleashed, a bunch of other games. But as a kid growing up, I really got attached to the Sonic franchise. And so a lot of my community know me for my love for the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise as well as in a retrospect. So yeah, that's a little bit more about me and my gaming background. Yeah, and then I guess ever since I turned 16, I've just sort of wanted to get into fighting games competitively. And then we kind of just went from there. So yeah.
okay. So while we're on the Tekken 3 topic, I want to know your standpoint on this, right?
Sure, man.
Because I remember seeing a post where someone was saying that I miss the old styles of unlocking characters and stuff like it was in
Yeah.
Tekken 3 than it is in Tekken 8, 7, 6. So what's your take on that?
I want to say I agree because obviously when it comes to fighting games nowadays, you've got to deal with a lot of DLC, right? DLC is kind of the new way to get characters. Obviously, you pay $5.99, you get a character, and a pack and a whatever. It's the new stuff, it's the great stuff. But I agree with obviously being able to go back and obviously unlock characters the old fashioned way or the organic way where you'd have to be a boss, so you have to be arcade mode, and that challenge and that reward felt really, really good. So when a lot of fighting games and just other games in general allowed you to do that, and you would get a new character, it just felt magical, man. I know Tekken did it. I know a big one is Super Smash Brothers. When Brawl came out for me, obviously that was my introduction to the game on the series. But unlocking characters was just such a treat. And obviously, I didn't even know half of these characters were in the game. Nowadays, everyone just knows everything because it's all over the internet. But the beauty of obviously not knowing who is in what and just being able to unlock them, and as a kid being like, "Yo, it's
Mm.
opened like a third eye," or so. It's insane. So yeah, I miss that as opposed to the DLC that we get now.
So something I kind of had with that, right? With the simple fact that when you was able to unlock characters by
Yeah, yeah,
playing through the story or through arcades and stuff, that
yeah.
actually brought more attention to getting people to play your story mode in that way. Like it was story driven or arcade driven. games back then than it is now. Like now, like you mentioned, you have to pay for these guys or girls and stuff in that nature. And it's kind of like a cheat in a way, because it's like, okay, if I really want to play with this new person, I'm gonna go ahead and put up the money for it instead of having to
Mm,
grind and do what I got to
exactly.
do to unlock them. I
Yeah.
think that's really like kind of like jabbing yourself in a way as a
Mm,
developer, because you're not getting a fighting game. Let's just say this: a fighting game is all about you fighting either the computer or multiplayer. Now, when it comes down to your fighting game, you most likely it's going to be arcade driven, because what fighting game is not going to be arcade driven? You like don't even have arcade in it if it's not meant to be played as an arcade game.
it's an arcade
But
game, of course.
but see, the problem is with this is that now we're going back towards the DLC where you have to buy these characters when you can just get more and like get more people involved in playing your arcade to unlock these characters and stuff. If you're gonna have anything DLC, man, I suggest backgrounds, music from old games,
Please, yeah, that'd be
or if you
awesome.
do give us characters that we never even heard of before.
Mm,
Don't give us characters that been in the game for century and we got to pay to unlock them. That made no sense. Having to pay for Eddie Guerrero. Like Eddie, like
yeah, yeah,
that made
yeah.
no
Shout
sense.
out to Eddie Guerrero though, great guy, amazing
Okay,
guy. What a wrestler, man. I loved Eddie Guerrero. But
yo,
I see what you're saying. Yeah, Eddie, yeah, of course. No, I mean, it's this whole thing of there's like a 50-50 to DLC, right? On one side, it could either be the worst thing in the world, or on some other sides, it's the best thing in the world. And I say that because and I know I'm going to speak from obviously the FGC's perspective, or at least the fighting game perspective. I don't speak for the entire FGC when I say this, but obviously when it comes down to it, the hype that builds around sort of the reveal of a DLC character is always going to be exciting, no matter what way you look at it. And I think especially when we're doing predictions and like waiting for the trailers to drop, I think unfortunately leak culture kind of ruined it a little bit, which is something that we can't avoid because people are just getting too smart for their own good nowadays. But I mean, seeing that like old character come back after so long feels so good in some instances. I'll give you an example. Obviously, Street Fighter 6
mhm.
recently released Alex, who we haven't seen since Street Fighter 3. And it's like you see that for the first time in a long time, and you go, wow, like genuinely the reaction that me and my friends had was just like, hold on, that's insane. Like Alex is coming to Street Fighter. So it was like that's the one side of it that's great. The other side is obviously, yeah, you do have to you have to pay quite an amount. But a lot of the time DLC characters have the problem of being the characters that run the game, in the sense that they become broken because the developers are developing these characters for the post game stuff, and it's like, all right, you know what, now we've got characters that can do this and do that and whatnot. And then obviously when the character comes out, the whole community is like, it's broken, you got to like tone it down or whatever, and they do eventually, but some characters are left untouched and some are. So it's a very double-edged sword. Obviously you give your money to either lose the game, but before the whole, you have any sense for that, there is just that excitement. But then when that honeymoon phase is over,
It's
then you're
over.
like, okay, it's over, right? Yeah, like you have to fight. You've got to fight that on ranked, by the way. That's not, something that we have to. So it is, yeah, it does suck, but that's my stance on it.
Okay, man. Look, that was definitely a take that I needed to get insight from you on that. But let's get back going on your end when it come down to what got you involved in charity and stuff in that nature with what you got going on.
Yeah, so I know we spoke about this a little bit before the interview itself. And one of the main reasons we wanted to do this in the first place was to talk about our charity tournament that we have going on. So a little bit more about myself in terms of everything that I've done. When I was at university, I was running a society, game society, and we used to run like events, tournaments, and this was long before that I was like kind of integrated myself into the wider fighting game community. So I would have experience running smaller tournaments along with the help of some friends and whatnot, and they would help me out a ton with running these events. And then what would end up happening is one day, it was my last year, my final year of university, and I think maybe 2 weeks before graduation, or about 2 weeks before I was handling in my final like piece of work before the year was done, one of my closest friends, one of my best friends, he goes, "Oh, dude, I don't know if you heard, but I'm leaving London to go live up north." And I'm like, "This just came out of nowhere. Why you leaving? Where you going? What's going on?" He's told us at that point that he's having a kid, and we're like, "Whoa!" And it's we're all like 20, 21, so it's like the first guy in our group to have a kid, and we're all just kind of like, "Oh wow, that's like this has
Mhm.
taken us by surprise." And he goes and he's like, "So to say like a kind of a goodbye thing, do you think we could run a Dragon Ball Fighters tournament?" And our whole group loves fighters. At this point, I've had like maybe 2 months of experience with the game, but I look at him and I go, "You want me to run a tournament you want me to prepare it in 2 weeks?" He goes, "If you
Mm.
can." And I'm like, "All right, let's do it." And so I have a 2 week turnover, and in that time period, I have to also hand in my final projects, which I'm also stressed out about. And on the night where we are told about the news about my friend, me and my other friend go walking to the train station, and I'm like, "We should like make this a 2 day event for charity, because low-key that would want more people to get involved with it. There would be more eyes on it. There'd be more of an incentive. I know it's just like 9 of us at the time that are going to be doing this together, and it'll be a really
Mm.
fun time. But maybe people they might want to get involved. It's a
Yeah.
bunch of small guys who, in the grand scheme of things, are very small out there on the internet. But who knows? Let's have some fun with it." And we called it the Rogue Summit because obviously our Discord is called the Rogue Abode. It's kind of where we all hang out, and we wanted to do it in the style of summit tournaments, which are very like casual, laid back events where it's very couch commentary. So we have every single one of the guys on couch comms, and you can be yourself and just relax and chill. And how the games would work is people would go into a room to play their games,
Mhm.
and every single game would be streamed and whatnot. So yeah, I had 2 weeks to prepare all of that. And so I did all the promo by myself, all the graphics by myself. I said I want to make this as flashy as possible. So I did I made an opening sequence for the tournament as well, which people really enjoyed. And then it was about inviting people to come down. And about 12 of us were in the place together. Where we did it was where I used to live. So at my uni, we had uni accommodations or like uni housing, and we had a common room right next to the building where me and my friends used to live. And that common room served as like the very first venue where we hosted one of these events. And so, because it was like an open space, a lot of people could come in and see what's up, and all the other students could come in and basically see what was going on. And day one, we did day one. A couple people came in; it was really nice. But day two was, yeah, one to remember, because we were raising money for charity. I believe there was a massive earthquake in 2023 in, I want to say, I think it was Turkey or Syria. Or it might have
Yeah.
been both.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. So we teamed up with British Red Cross, and we were like, all right, we're gonna do this thing where we're trying to raise as much money as possible for these guys. And yeah, I mean that night was just incredible. Like, we got through the entire day. The tournament was absolutely amazing. Great vibes overall. Had a couple production problems here and there, but it was like nothing I couldn't fix.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't have a long capture card or a long HDMI cable, so how I would do it was I had a second Twitch channel account. So what I would do is I would get my PC from my apartment, stream the gameplay to that Twitch account, and then from where we were actually streaming the event itself, I got another laptop, got my OBS up, just got the display from the Twitch stream, and then displayed it on that laptop for my main Twitch channel to see. And it was like the most convoluted thing, but I couldn't think of any other way of doing this right. So I was like, this is how I'm going to do it.
But you did it.
But we did it, and we only had like 2 hiccups. And I was running the production, doing the graphics, doing the bracket itself, and then obviously just kind of like making sure everyone was all good. But yeah, donations kept piling in and piling in and piling in. We had an initial reach goal of 300 quid and $300 at the time. And we reached it. We got it by the end of the night, and it felt like everything had felt so complete, because we had done this before. The year prior, it was just a random Dragon Ball tournament that we did at uni. 1 year later, we all came back to do this tournament again. It's just a thing between friends, but we wanted to do it for something big. And the fact that we were able to reach that donation goal by the end of the night, and that being kind of like the farewell thing for our group, especially
Yeah.
and that like last big hurrah for our uni adventure had come to an end. It was like, yeah, it's a story that I will never get tired of telling. And then ever since then, we've just been running those tournaments on and on and on and on every year, and now we're on our ninth ones. Yeah,
Okay. So is this something that you well, not the tournament standpoint, right? But far as working with charity groups and
yeah, yeah,
stuff, is
yeah.
that you do often, or is it just
Yeah.
every now and then?
So, for me, it is well, considering we do this every year now. Before it used to be a 3 month thing. So we would run one of these events, then 3 months later we would do another one. So in 2023, we fit about four of these in, which is ridiculous to say out loud, considering considering the amount of pre-production that went into those events in comparison to the pre-production that goes into these ones that we're doing now. Fitting four in 1 year back then seemed like light work, but if I was to do it this year, oh my god, it'd be impossible. So yeah, I mean, we fit in four different ones. We worked with various different charities. I reached out to a couple other people from different charities and said, "Hey, we're doing this. Would you like to take a look at the things we do?" And obviously, Cancer Research UK was one of the ones that we reached out to in 2023, so about 3 years ago now, and we're working with them again this year. But we'd worked
Nice.
with other ones like Project Hope, who were a humanitarian aid company, and they helped us out for the last three or four of our events. And yeah, so we do this as often as we can. It's now a yearly thing. Just to answer your question, it is now a yearly thing, but it makes it all the sweeter when the build up is all finished. So yeah,
That's nice. Look, I
yeah,
always condone and I always salute the ones who's doing something that always bring awareness or charity towards giving costs. Because one thing as a content creator, right? Sometimes you tend to just focus on yourself and not the real issue that's going on in the world, as far
yeah,
as
exactly.
helping others and need. Like the first, I can guarantee you this, bro. The first content that was ever seen on the internet it wasn't self
Yeah,
like I need this for myself. It was
yeah.
I need others to watch
To
this.
watch this, yeah, absolutely.
So
You're doing it for other people, man.
yes. So
You know.
now it's all about I'm doing it for myself. So when I see a group of guys or a group of girls or just anybody doing something for charity, bro, I condone y'all.
No, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. No, we've
Most definitely.
worked so hard over the last couple of years just to get this done. I mean, again, as I said before, we're not a huge group. We don't have a crazy following. We've just started our production team, officially started that production company 2 years ago now, as of this year, 2 years ago. And it's been insane the things that we've done. I mean, we've raised over 4,000, no, 3,500 for charity. We're still going because obviously we've just opened up our most recent campaign where we're working with streamers to help us raise some more money. And they've been the streamers that we've been working with have been absolutely fantastic. They've been able to bring more eyes to the event as well. And obviously, because the event is happening in August, we're trying to build up as much hype for it as humanly possible. And so loads of people have messaged me about it and wanting to get involved and wanting to just be there and enjoy it. So, I can appreciate everyone who wants to get involved. And I can appreciate everyone who's messaged me and gone, this is what we want to do, or those that have donated as well. So I don't do this for myself. I do this because I want to do something for others. And it's always been like that for me because, I know we mentioned the term content creator earlier on. I don't see myself as much of a content creator, I'll be honest. For me, again, I see myself as a tournament organizer as well as also as a commentator, but I also just see myself as a regular dude. I'm nothing special. But the people that are coming to these events. It's not something that because I could just run an event, no one shows up, but it's because of the people that come, they make the event. So without them, I wouldn't be in a position where I can actually be like, all right, this is it. I mean, we have people coming out from out of the country, to come over here to be at this event. Yeah, it's insane. I mean, the things that we've done. So
Yeah,
you know,
because something I kind of look at when it comes down to where you start and where you're at now, right? You be like, man, I didn't expect to see myself in this position 3 years ago or 2 years ago.
no,
So it's amazing how dedication, hard work, what you call it. I just had the word in
you got it,
my
man.
head. Just staying focused, man, and
Yeah, no,
just not
literally.
allowing nothing to take you off of what you trying to pursue far as helping people in that nature. And I feel like when you do it for that simple fact, everything just rolls so smoothly when it come down to what you're trying to produce or anything in that nature. So with that, is it easier with you or is it easier with all of you and your friends to be able to get a lot done for these events?
That is a very good question. So for me personally, I know my team knows me very well. I'm very much a visionary, in my opinion, anyway. If I see something, I want it a certain way. I want it a certain way. I don't care who's doing it, how it's done. I want it my way.
Yeah.
But for years, I mean, I've been working on this event on my own. A lot of it is that we have obviously the help of our producers and our production team on site, on the day. But a lot of the pre-production side was just me. It was just reaching out to sponsors, reaching out to people, making the graphics for these events, constantly being like, "Hey guys, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening." Working with artists, animators, music producers, you name it. I've put everything into all of this and trying to just get as many people involved as humanly possible. But as of I want to say maybe last year or this year, my team have been a lot more hands-on, which is nice to see because I've gotten a lot busier now. I'm working a temporary job in the TV industry and it's gotten insane. And so I need, time for myself, but also I need time for the event. And I
Hmm.
obviously am in a position where because of how big the events are getting, I don't have a lot of time to do everything by myself. So my team have become a lot more hands-on. They've seen that and I've gone, you can do this, you can do that, you can do that. And if they've got time on their hands, they'll do it. If not, then I'll do it myself because again, I like things to be a certain way, and if it's not that way, then it is what it is. If it can't be done, I won't like it, but it is what it is.
I mean, you're a
Yeah,
perfectionist, man. You got to be
I try
perfect.
to be. I try to be. Yeah, no, I mean, I try to be a perfectionist. I try to put my all into everything because I have this thing of I'm in this weird bubble of I know I can do this. I've done some really crazy stuff over the last couple of years where I've worked with so many people. I've worked with different companies here and there. I've done interviews, not just with yourself, but with other. I had an interview 2 years ago when we did our first year anniversary tournament with another guy who was gracious enough to do. We one of our tournaments last year ended up in a newsletter.
Mm.
People were writing blogs about it, so it was like I want the world to see what not just a community can do, but what the power of fighting games can do. Because I, honest to God, believe that the FGC is some of the most united community, if not the most united community in the world. Because you can't get crossover like you do within the fighting game scene. But on
Yes,
top of that,
yes.
also, I feel like everyone can enjoy a fighting game if you pick up a stick. And a lot of my friends who don't play fighting games have enjoyed fighting games in the past. Seeing them be involved, even though they come from different worlds, be involved or on my team and they don't know anything about it but they just want to do something about it has always just been really really exciting to me. And again, as I said before, I just want to be able to break out of that bubble, that space, and go, I know I can make it to the top. And even if it's not as a producer, then it is as a commentator, and I want to show that. So yeah, man, that's where I'm at right now. I
Because
got it.
oh yeah, you do. Because I mean, you here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You're making it happen, and for one, it speaks a lot that companies want to work with you. That's not an easy thing to achieve, So a lot of us we look at things as being so small when it's really so big, So it's like one thing I have noticed
Mm.
with the fighting scene, right? Since I've been doing this podcast thing, man, I ran across a whole lot of fighting tournament expos and,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
stuff
for
in that
sure.
nature. So like this dude named Roddy Downey Jr., man, in America side, he
Rodney,
started,
yeah, I know
yeah,
him.
Roddy,
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
he's doing his own thing and stuff in that nature. So I see the love that this community has, when it comes down to either doing stuff together as a whole community or doing stuff for other people.
Yeah,
And with that, man, like I said before, it's something special that has to continue that have to continue because this
100%.
is something that's definitely opening a lot of eyes to the unknown.
100%. And
Yeah.
going off of your point where it's opening a lot of eyes to the unknown, again, when I do these particular events, they're not for the wider FGC. They're done with me and my close friends who aren't from that community. So it's a lot of overlap between different games and those that are not in the same space that I usually work in outside of being with my friends. So giving them that experience of what it's like to be in a position where I'm in, where it's like, this is what a fighting game tournament is like, has been so just fresh for me because it's like this is the experience that you would get at a fighting game tournament, and we try to make that as premium as possible for them so that they can understand it. But because they all come from different worlds, like some of them come from Destiny or Warhammer or Valorant or Overwatch, whatever it may be, they have different friends from those scenes, and because of it, those people from those scenes know about this random fighting game charity tournament in the middle of London that just happens. And we've had so many people over the years come from Final Fantasy 14, from other games as well, coming in to chat and going, "This is really cool." And it's like you see that overlap, but and I'm like, we want this to be a thing where it's not just fighting games, but we want to celebrate gaming as a whole. My whole thing is that I want everyone from whatever scene you're coming from, come down. Yeah, it's mostly fighting game orientated, but everyone's allowed. You know, you're all allowed to enjoy it. And I want people to come down and just enjoy the experience or enjoy the build up, enjoy the ride, you know. And I think this year we've really been able to capture that spirit wholeheartedly. And I'm so grateful to everyone who's reached out and helped so far. So
Yeah,
yeah, man.
so something I do want to offer for the from the podcast
Yeah.
perspective is that no matter what you got going on, man, let me know and I'll be happy to support it or to share it or whatever the case may be, man, to get it known because I
Sure,
really
man.
enjoy what you guys are doing and
No,
it's
I appreciate
definitely
that.
much more needed because it's crazy to me how we don't understand the reach that we have
Yeah,
when it comes down to like and me and you talked about this
we
off
did.
air
Yeah, we
that
did.
it's
Yeah.
a crazy situation that I'm in America and I'm able to touch people in the UK in
Yeah.
London, and so
I mean,
it's
the fact
just
we're having this conversation right now, you know, it just goes to show you that the reach that this has is insane, right? So,
yes,
yeah.
yes. It just
Yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
the end of the day, it's all about how far are you willing to to push this agenda.
Exactly.
Because this agenda is definitely needed in so much going on in the world right now as we speak. We need something to take our minds off of the stressfulness of what this world is going through right now. So this is definitely something that I definitely would love to see more of and hear more of. But what I want to know is, man,
Mm.
what with you, how did you get yourself in the position of being a commentator? Like, is that something you have to kind of like train for, or you could just because you gotta have a voice for it for one.
You think I have the voice for it?
You definitely got the voice for
That
a
is that
commentator.
is that is a compliment that I will happily take. I get that a lot from a lot of people. Everyone goes, "Oh, you got the voice for it, man!" Like, you know, it's awesome. No, I appreciate it. A lot of people have come up to me and have said that. But I was having this conversation earlier today with someone that I had met at the event that I was working, and basically, my story is very different than your average commentary story because a lot of it is everyone I've spoken to, they know a guy, right? It's a lot of I know a guy. They put me on commentary online a couple times. You know, we worked some stuff out, and then I got events. For me, it was I was in university, my second year of university, and I was going through some stuff. Like I was depressed as hell. I locked myself in my room, just working on stuff consistently. Like I was just trying to do stuff right to keep my mind off of like the stress of university because it was just like my projects were breaking and I was like just going insane. And there was some extra bits and pieces with friends and, you know, weeding out toxic relationships and whatnot. And so my head was in a really bad place. And so I shut myself out for about an entire semester. And one day I went into the uni. My friends were surprised to see me and said, how about this, right? There's a tournament that happens every single Monday called That Monday Meltdown, which is literally in a small esports bar not too far off from where we live. And I was like, I'm down. I've got nothing else to do. At this point in time, I was living on uni grounds as well, so I had free reign to do whatever the hell I wanted at this point. So I was like, all right, cool, whatever, let's go. So we go, and I have no intention of competing. I don't have my controller with me. I tell them, hey guys, I don't want to compete. You know, I'm just here to vibe. But I see some friends that I'd met online from years ago, and it was nice to catch up with them. And one of my friends notices that the commentary spot, so they have this thing called open mic, which you just go on and you just do your thing. And one of the spots on the open mic commentary was empty. And one of my friends goes, get on there, man. Go out there and do something. Go yap. And I was like, I've never done this, you know, before. I was like, I was nervous. But I was like, oh, you know, we'll be fine, whatever. So I've streamed a couple times before this. I was like streaming consistently, whatever, during this time. So I had a bit of confidence being in front of the camera. I had no issues actually sitting there. And I was paired with a friend of mine who I had worked with in the past. And had reached out to me back in 2021 to commentate an event for him, and that was when I had like no experience, nothing. I had no idea what I was doing, so I did
Mm.
that event years ago. And then obviously the gap between then and this event, it was like about a year and a bit. And I sit down, I do my block, I do the commentary for about a couple hours, and I get up and I check Twitter, and I'm getting so much positive feedback. I tweet
Mm.
out that I'm done with my block, and a lot of people are loving it. There's a lot of people just tagging me and stuff and whatnot, and I'm like, I could do something with it. Like this could be good, like I might have found something to get me out of this depressive phase. I got this.
Yeah.
And the following week I go and I do the same thing again. And then the week after, literally I think the week of my birthday or the week before my birthday, EG Bootcamp, who is the like premier Super Smash Brothers like tournament organization, pick up the broadcasting rights to the tournament that I'm working. And it means that immediately thousands more people are going to see this tournament every
Mm.
single Monday. And I'm thinking to myself, whoa, that's insane. And so I go and do that one and I get a ton of praise for it. And then like week in, week out, I'm working that event. Mentally I'm getting better. I'm talking to people. I get invited out to do regionals. So events here in the UK that are just outside of London. So I go to those and I did a lot of those events. And then afterwards, at the end of no, I did yes, this is 2022. So at the end of the year, man, my first professional year as a commentator, they asked me to go do an international major tournament. And I was like, whoa, I've only been doing this for like 6 to 7 months. I'm like, I'm down to do it. Let's do it. So I get flown out to Vienna. I get to do that event. And then from there, it was just like a rocket of just different things and opportunities coming my way and organizations and working with them. And then I got to work on different games. So I did Valorant for a little bit. I do Valorant every now and again, even now. Did Overwatch for a little while. Yeah, it's just been so yeah, from there on, it's just been like a whirlwind of these last 4 years have just been a blessing, in a
Man.
sense, yeah.
Because something something I focus on in this podcast, right, is the fact that a lot of stuff is centered around mental health, right? And all of us deal with mental health in a different type of way. And with that, man, how bad did it get for you and how was you able to just like I know you just mentioned that you was
Yeah,
able
for
to
sure.
do commentary and it brought you out of your funk of being almost in a depressed state and stuff of that nature. But how was it like the mental health was trying to get to?
Um, I mean, wow, that's a good question. So for me, mental health has always been kind of shoddy. Like it's been really weird. Growing up, you are told to just ignore it and kind of move on. So for years, I've always been like, something happens, it happens, whatever. And then around, I think, circa 2020, 2021, I'm like in the trenches, in the depths of hell. And every now and again, I mean, it dips in and out. I get depressed every now and again. Had to go to therapy for it. We get out of it. We're working on it. It happens. I feel like everyone goes through it every now and again. But I just kind of I try to remind myself that it's okay to be upset at times. I try my best not to be these days, but I'm still trying to figure out like that balance of, hey, it's all right to just kind of take a step back and do whatever it is that you want to do. Because for me, it's like I've always got to keep my head down and just work and just do because it helps me take my mind off of things. So if there's something like that I've got to do, whether it's an event or whether it's something like this, or I'm streaming or I'm at my day job, whatever it is, and it's like, then I'm like, all right, cool. I've got something that will keep me busy, but when I'm like alone in my thoughts, it kind of messes me up. Yeah, mental health has always been because it's always been last couple of years have been heavy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, even this year has been insanely heavy for me. I lost a lot of people this year. Couple in January over some stuff, and then there was someone that I really cared about that I'd lost in March, and then in April, unfortunately, my aunt had passed away from cancer, which was a huge
Condolences.
blow, huge blow. Since then, I mean, I unfortunately I haven't been able to really process that one. That one was it's still a massive like I haven't really been able to wrap my head around it. But I was angry, and it kind of was one of the main reasons why I wanted to do stuff for charity or stuff for cancer research this year anyway. I knew but this was beforehand. I'd already decided last year in December that I wanted to do the stuff for cancer research because I knew she was kind of like on her last legs. And 3 years ago, it was also the same thing. I just didn't know it was gonna happen when it had happened. I got a call while I was at an event saying that she's only got a couple days, and we flew out the next day, and it was just like, she passed right in front of us, and so it was like, and I throughout that entire process, I didn't cry once. I couldn't. I don't know what it was. Like I still haven't. It's weird. Like I'm just angry by it, and it just
Yeah.
angered me so much that I was like, I want to do something about it. And I was really serious about this event. So when I came back, the first thing I did was I pushed this event to the moon. I told people that I was like, I'm doing this for cancer research. I've had enough of this, of that, and I was just pushing it as much as I can. But I tried to be as put together as humanly possible.
Yeah.
And even to this day, like right now, I'm trying to be as put together as I can with everything. Despite everything else that goes on in the back, I think it's important for me, especially when you have to lead a team and you've got people that depend on you as a person. You got to keep yourself as together as, and so I'm
Yes.
doing that every day.
Yes.
I'm in that cycle of wake up, screw anything else. I'm just going to keep on going. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then we'll just keep moving. And I'm doing that. And I honestly, I've been proud of myself this year because I've just been able to keep doing me. And I'm happy with that. But yeah, I've got a mission to complete, and hopefully in August I'm able to complete that mission, and maybe who knows, it will hit me harder then. But yeah, it's just been crazy.
Because the reason why I asked that too, because
Sorry,
when
I
it
spoke
comes,
for a long time. Oh my god.
no, you all right, man. Why I asked that? I try to ask all my guests, far as what helps them with mental health, only because every day we all deal with it a certain way, right? It comes at us different times. It come at us different ways. So it's like, as us being behind the screen of either a television, a phone, or
Yeah,
tablet, whatever the case may be, someone is looking at us. Someone is getting inspired by us in
I hope
some
so.
type of form or fashion.
Yeah,
So that what you said, you have to put on this poker face to not let anyone see the hurt, the pain, the anger in us when we're going through something, man, is very heavy, because it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And it's something I had dealt with in the past, and I'm continually dealing with it, because it's every day you go through something. It's just how you handle it is what
it's
pays
just
for
how
what.
you handle it. Exactly. No,
Yes.
you're right. It is that. It is literally just that. And I feel like with everything that's gone on this year, I've just tried to kind of move as fast as I possibly can. Because to me, my thing is for years I've always believed that, and it's ignorant, but my feelings have no real weight in comparison to those that I'm surrounded by. So I always try to make sure that others are okay before I do myself, and then I can deal with my issues afterwards. Like that's how it is for me. It's like it's got to be them first before it's me, and I just try to make sure that everybody else is happy. Yeah, I mean it's just one of those ones where for them I always try to just be as put together as humanly possible. And I think I'm doing an okay job at it now. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we just keep going. We just keep moving.
Cause yeah, cause I mean, regardless of anything, man, when you feel at the end of the day that you have a lot of weight on your back, far as supporting people or people depending on you in that sense of nature, right? You have to be in boss mode. You got to be in boss
Yeah,
mode,
yeah, yeah,
grind
exactly.
mode. You can't let nothing just deter you from what you got going on, because a
No,
lot of people
sir.
depend on you. It's got
Exactly,
to
man.
happen. So with that, man, I just want to let you know, man, you're doing a great job.
Appreciate
Keep
that.
going. I'm sorry for your loss and everything, man. Let that be your motivation to prevail in everything you do from this day forth, man.
I hope so, man. Genuinely, I feel like that anger that I've had for however long is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing this year, and I need this to work. Like that has been my motivation. Is every time I'm talking about it, I'm like, I need this. I need this to go to the moon. I need this to work. I need this event to be the biggest one. So that is my main motivator for getting this done in the first place. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll just do what we can. Is what I would say.
So with that, man,
Yeah.
and the continuation on your commenting journey, what lessons have you learned from this position? Far as you know, getting there, achieving, staying there, and what goals do you see in the future for this?
Good. What lessons have I learned is a good one. For me, the biggest one is keep your head down and just go for it. A lot of the times when early on in my career, I was very vocal about how I felt for not being picked for certain things, and I was a very, very whiny commentator. I'll be honest. I was like, "Oh man, I didn't get picked. That sucks." But I would make it known that I didn't like it. And so after a while, I realized, man, this kind of stuff would, deter other people from picking me on their show. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep quiet. I'm gonna keep my head down. I'm gonna keep running, working, and just if I get the event, I get the event. If I don't, we go next. And so for years, disciplining myself to be in that position where, yeah, you get shot down, cool, whatever, take rejection, move on to the next. That has been like the big thing for me. And I have fully adapted to that as of like 2 years ago. So if I don't get an event, cool, the next one's coming. I couldn't care less. It is what it is. There's always next year. And if there's not next year, then there's a year after. Who cares? There's always something new that pops up. So one big thing for me is just keep your head down, keep working, and just keep focusing on whatever, and something will come, and some sort of opportunity will show up. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I couldn't tell you what would happen this year, right? I couldn't tell you what events I'm going to do this year because I don't know. They come, they go, and sometimes I don't know until a day before, sometimes I don't know until a month before. So it's like you can never really be too sure with that kind of stuff. That's just the spontaneity of just being a commentator in the first place. Another big thing for me is also preparing my notes, preparing myself, because a lot of the time you can't freestyle this job. This isn't something that, in my opinion, if you want to take seriously, you have to be versatile. And I don't just mean with games. Obviously moving through different games is great because then you get more opportunities to do more events and you're not limited to one thing. But having knowledge and being prepared for those things is what's really important. And so you can't just go in there and you've seen this game like 2 or 3 times and call a thing because you look stupid on camera. I've done it. I've made that mistake. It is horrible. But with smaller tournaments, and then I review the footage and I go, what am I doing? I don't sound good here. So I would go back, make notes on the game that it is that I'm working on. I would pick up small bits and pieces from players that I speak to and whatever, and just try to research as much as I possibly can. I have like 3 notebooks. This is my current new one, and I've got this old Dragon Ball one that I used to use, and there was another one somewhere around here that I used to use that just are full of notes for commentary, and I take it with me everywhere I go. I sit there, I prepare stuff. I go, how am I gonna open? Oh, what kind of stuff am I looking at? What kind of characters are we looking at? Mm. So a lot of prep work goes into this, and I feel like that's always another big thing that I've learned as well from a lot of other people.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
So another thing that we like to do in over here on Retro Pioneers podcast, man, we like to
sure.
get top 5, top 10. But today I'm gonna get you a top 5. What's your top 5 fighting games of all time?
Wow, top 5 fighting games of all time is difficult. That is hard. So for me, I would put there are so many good ones I would put like in my top 3 that I'm just like, how can I relegate that to 4th or 5th? And I'm just like, I'm thinking what goes where. For me, I would put Tekken 3 at 5th because it again holds way too close of a place in my heart. I'd start off with Tekken 3. I would then put King of Fighters 13, which was a game that I really enjoyed as a kid. Then afterwards, for my third game, I'd put Street Fighter 4
Okay.
because that is a game that brought me and my cousins together quite a lot. Second, I would put Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I love that game. That game is amazing, and
Yes.
it's difficult, but it is so fun. So yeah, MVC 2 in my second, and then Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. I fully believe that game is the greatest fighting game of all time, and not
Yeah,
a
most
single
definitely.
person could. It is easily my top one. If anybody has ever asked me that question, I've
Look,
always go argue
I'm
with me on it.
I'm gonna tell you this, man. It's a reason why it got so many variants.
That's so true. That's so true.
You know,
So
so
true.
so it that speaks a lot far
Yeah.
as how great that game was. And then on top of that, you can still play to that till this day. You can still play that game, and it feels like a wonderful
People are still actively
piece.
playing this game. Like
Yes.
it's got a huge scene. It was at Evo 2 years ago. Like I've got to tell you, this game is amazing for a game that came out in the 90s. It's amazing. It's a fantastic fighting game. So it's easily my number one.
Okay. Okay. So, man, what something you want everyone to know about what you stand for, what you got going on, where people can find
Mm,
you at. just what you want people to know about you and what you represent.
What I represent, I've been trying to figure that out myself for a very long time. I'm in this weird period of finding out who Asura is as a character and then who I am as a person. So differentiating both of that has been quite difficult. But from someone that has always put them both together, I fully believe that everyone deserves an opportunity to do the right thing. I feel like if you have the opportunity to go and do something, well, go do it, man. Like I've had loads of people, loads of my friends who they want to do something. Go do it. Go make a team, find people to do things with, or just do it by yourself. If you have a bunch of friends who aren't willing to do something with you, go out there and do it. So that's what I do. A lot of my stuff is solo, doing a commentary. I travel by myself around the world. I don't have people to go with. And if I do, it's on the off chance that they're just colleagues. So it's like a lot of it is I go out by myself, I do these things, I meet new people, and then we network from there. So if you want to make content, go make content. No one's gonna hold your hand for it. If you want to go to events and meet new people, go to events. Ask the random if you want to go with me. But if they don't, then they don't. So for me, it's just put my head down and just do it. That just do it is literally it. In terms of obviously what else I stand for, I fully firmly believe in having a lot of potential. I feel like I can do something. I hate the idea of just sitting around and not doing nothing. So
Yes.
there's this whole thing of I've got this itch to always like I look at people on the internet and I'm gonna do that. I want in on that. That's what I want to do.
Mhm.
And I've always had that itch, and it's like one way or another, I'll figure a way to make it happen as long as it takes. So for me, it's like again, desire, do. Simple. That's always been it for me. As opposed to where you can find me, obviously you can find me on Instagram at what Asura does. That is kind of the where I'm the most active at the moment. Twitter at AsuraDX, Twitch, what Asura does as well. That YouTube as well was also what Asura does, so you can find me there too. But you can also follow our production company at the Final Three Prod. That's the Final Three with a three and then Prod on Instagram, where we put all of the production stuff that we do for events and whatnot. So you can take a look at our stuff over there. So yeah, that's a little bit about where you can find me.
Okay, okay. Look, man, I definitely think there was a great episode of us getting to know you as the commentator, as the charity provider,
Mm.
and stuff of that nature, man. And I'm grateful that you was able to come on the show and talk with me for a little bit. And you're definitely welcome to come back anytime you want to.
I'll take you up on it,
Hey,
man.
look, I'm even gonna throw this out there. I'm hoping that the whole team one day will
Let's
just
do
pop
it,
up
man.
and we can all
Yeah,
just,
I'll talk to
talk.
my team. Yeah, I'll talk to my team. We'll see what we can do, and let's do an episode, man. I'd
Okay,
love
okay,
it.
we're gonna make that
I'd love
happen,
it
man.
for
Look,
sure,
man,
man.
thank y'all so much for watching this episode of Retro Pioneer Podcast. Yet, let's thank Mr. Ashura for coming back on the show and blessing us with so much knowledge on commentator and the things that they do behind the scenes when it comes down to their charity work and stuff in that nature. And also, man, salute to the UK and London and everything in that nature. And we'll
Right
catch
back
y'all
at
on
you.
another episode of Retro Pioneer Podcast. Peace, love, and everything up above. Peace.